Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad, from wherever you are connecting. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, from thinking to feeling, from thinking to feeling. I have been explaining the sutra. Consider your essence as light rays rising from center to center up the vertebrae, and so rises livingness in you. You have no light in the house. So what you are doing, in order to go from room to room, you carry a torch light. As the rays of torch light passes through various rooms, you are coming from outside, going inside the house. As the rays of the torch moves from one room to another, what is there? There is light. There is something you can see better. And if the light was not there, you would have been stumbling. You may fall, you may knock here, bounce there, but with that. So in this sutra it says, consider your essence as light rays rising from center to center, from room to room. Within your body, what are the rooms? They are the psychic centers or chakras. As the light flows through them, you can see it clearly, you can think clearly, you can feel clearly. Aliveness is felt within you. Sex is very easy because it follows the law of gravitation. Gravitation means that it pulls you down. The earth is pulling everything down. So when a spacecraft travels to go beyond the horizon of the earth, so it remains within the gravitational force of the earth. The distance from the earth to moon is 384,400 kilometers. So up to that range, the earth's gravitational force works. And if you have to allow the spacecraft to move beyond this distance, you have to use extra force. So up to certain centers in your body, the gravitational force keeps you pulling there until you reach to the point where the gravitational force of earth, the lower centers, that is Sufis call it as nafs, is nullified, and you are pulled by the higher forces, higher energy field. The earth is pulling everything down. Your sex energy is being pulled by the earth element in you, in your earth center, in your water center, and until it reaches the fire center, it is being pulled continuously. That's why there is so much appeal for sex, and nobody is satisfied with it. You may not have heard, but it is true. When astronauts went in the space, they felt this, that the moment they move beyond the Earth's gravitational force, they do not feel much sexuality because they are away from they have crossed 384,400 kilometers of distance up to where the gravitational force of Earth works. Beyond that, no. So when they are in a spacecraft, they do not feel the effect of sexuality. The body loses weight. Sexuality dissolves and disappears. The more you are light, full of energy, you feel the sex becomes less and less effective. Life does not attain meaning through thinking. Thinking is desert like, but that is what we know. Nothing grows there. It may be good and meaningful for outer life. Thinking is good for outer life. But for inner life, thinking is important. Life blossoms in the fertile soil of feeling. Life resonates with feeling. Life becomes meaningful when you move from thinking to feeling. Each individual is born with seed of feeling within. It is different matter if the seed does not get the fertilized soil and proper nourishment, or you have created many obstructions for the process to begin. The moment your life moves to the realm of feeling, a spring of bliss comes. When the energy starts moving upward, you will have more and more real glimpses. And once it reaches the thousand petal center, it is released from there. You will feel absolute bliss within you, that is nirvana. Then there is no glimpse. You become the bliss indeed. So the whole thing for yoga and tantra is how to move energy upward through the vertebrae, through the spinal cord, and how to help it move against the gravity. And the moment it transcends the boundaries of gravity, you experience for the first time there is no attraction for sex. This is what the experience came to the astronauts. You can call it enlightenment. They experience something that the sex has become meaningful for them. When the gravitational force of Earth is not pulling you, you have crossed the boundaries, and even in day-to-day life, the gravitational force of the Earth, because everything has an earth element, which is physical, and then there is a subtle element. For instance, clarified butter, ghee, it has three layers. First layer is physical layer, and that layer helps to build up your bones. It gives a strength to the bones. So those who are meat eaters, they eat the bone marrow, which contains the same element. And calcium is absorbed in the body in the presence of this fat. So then there are other layers. Sex is very easy because it follows law of gravitation. Earth is pulling everything down. Your sex energy is pulled by earth element. You may not have heard it, but this is the experience of the astronauts. The earth is pulling your life energy down. This is natural because the moment you see when the conflict arises, your earth energy pulls you down, and what kind of talks, what kind of discussion, what kind of arguments we engage in. There is no sense of higher, no experience, no taste of higher life. Because the life energy comes from earth, you eat food, you are creating life energy within you. It comes from the earth, and earth is pulling you back. Everything goes to its source. And if it continues to move this way, life energy goes back again and again, and you continue to move in circles. You will go on moving for lives and lives in this circle. You have to come out of that cycle. You can go on moving this way infinitely until you take a jump, just like the astronauts did. Like the astronauts, you have to take a jump and move beyond the cycle of the gravitational force of the earth. Then the pattern of earth's gravitation is broken. It can be broken. Through the spiritual journey, this cycle, this circle can be broken. The techniques for how it can be broken are here. And for the energy can move vertically and rise up within you, reaching to new centers. For how new energies can be revealed within you, this will make you a new person. With every move, every decision that you take, every step you take forward, you are a different person. This will make you a new person with every move, and the movement of energy. And the moment the energy is released from the thousand petal center or crown center, the opposite pole of sex. Earth center is one pole of sex. Crown center is the other center. You are no more man. Man as you know yourself. Woman as you know yourself. Then you do not belong to this earth. You have become divine, and that state we call is the beginning of Buddhahood. You have become divine. That is what is meant when we say Krishna is God or Buddha is God. Their bodies are just like yours. Certainly their bodies will have to fall ill. They will have to die. Bodies will have to dissolve. Everything that happens in their bodies happens to you as well. Only one thing is not happening in their bodies, which is happening to you. The difference is the energy pattern has broken. Energy has broken the gravitational force. Now, Buddha, an awakened one, is not bound by the gravitational force of earth. He has transcended, he has become an astronaut moving towards the spiritual horizon. Astronauts go from Earth's atmosphere to Moon, to Mars or other places. This was the experience of the astronauts who went into the space, who entered the Moon, that the pattern of the Earth's gravitational force is broken. So those who are awakened, those who have attained to their Buddhahood, they have broken their patterns. Now it is up to you. Like astronauts went, they felt in that environment, the Earth's gravitational force is broken, but are they living in that feeling? Are they living in that essence? The difference is the energy has broken the gravitational pattern. He is no more affected by the gravitational force. You can experience it once. Astronaut experienced it once, but they do not live in that state. Sometimes you do experience things like that, but they has not become part of your daily life. But that you cannot see. It is not visible to your eyes. But sometimes when you are sitting by the side of an awakened one, you can feel this. Suddenly you feel an upsurge of energy within you. As your energy starts moving upward, only then you come to know that something has happened, something has changed in you. Just by being in contact with the Buddha, your energy begins to move upward towards the thousand petal center. A Buddha is so powerful that even the earth is less powerful in comparison to that energy. The gravitation cannot pull your energy downwards. There have been who have felt this around a Jesus, a Buddha, a Krishna, a Muhammad. As a result, they have called them God. They have a different source of energy which is stronger than that of the earth. This is part of the new publication which will be coming soon, The Psychology of the Awakened. How can the pattern be broken? The technique is very useful for breaking the pattern. First, understand something basic. First, you have noticed at all. If you have noticed at all, you must have observed that your sex energy moves only by imagination. Just through imagination, your sex center starts functioning. Really, without imagination, it cannot function. That is why, if you are in love with someone, it functions better. With love, imagination enters. If you are not in love, it is very difficult, it will not function. This is the reason why male prostitutes were not found in the old days, only women prostitutes. It is difficult for a male prostitute if he has no love. In that case, how can he have love just because of money? You can pay a man to have sex with you, but if he has no imagination for you, he cannot function. Women can function because sex in their case is passive. A woman can remain totally detached. They may not have any feeling at all. Their bodies can be just like corpse. With a prostitute, you are not making love with a real body, only with a dead corpse. That's the difference between the two. But women can easily be prostitutes because their sex is passive. And sometimes this has been the experience, this passivity, this body lying like a dead. Everybody would have experience in their life. Sex center functions through imagination. That is why even in dreams you can have erections and ejaculations. They are actual. Dreams are just imaginations. It has been observed that every man, if physically fit, until he is being pulled by the gravitational force of the earth, will have at least 10 erections each night. With every movement of the mind, with only a slight thought of sex, the erection begins. Your mind has many energy layers, many faculties, and one of them is will. You cannot will sex. For sex, will is impotent. If you try to love someone, you will feel you have gone impotent. You never try. You never function. It never functions. Will never functions with sex. Only imagination works. Will works with a different way. Only imagination will function. Imagine and the center will start functioning. Why am I emphasizing this fact? Because if imagination helps the energy to move, then you can move it through imagination upward and upward through the various centers. Just by imagination, you cannot move your blood. Blood will not move by imagination. You cannot move your blood through imagination. You cannot do anything else with body by imagination, your breathing, but sex energy can be moved by imagination. When it says that move the energy through the vertebrae is through imagination. You can change its direction. Therefore, as a device, consider your essence as rays of light. Think or imagine yourself, your being as light rays and nothing else, from center to center all along the vertebrae. Feel these light rays are moving up the spine. With this, you will feel aliveness in you. A totally different type of energy will surge within you. According to yoga, the spine is divided into 7 centers. I had explained 114 centers, that is true, but at the primary level, you have to work with 7 and then you go on. These are like 7 steps of a ladder. The first is the sex center and the last is the 1000 petal center. While in between these two, there are 5 centers or steps that you have to transcend to reach to the 1000 petal center. Just the 5 centers are enough to work with. The first center is the sex center. The second is just behind the navel, the Manipur center or the fire center. Third is just behind the heart, the Anhat chakra. The fourth is behind the throat center, the center of expression. Fifth is behind the 2 eyebrows, just between, in the middle of the forehead, the third eye chakra. And the last is Sahasrara, the crown center, just on the peak of your head. Who the sutra says, when the sutra says, consider yourself, this means imagine yourself. Now close your eyes and imagine yourself as you are light. It is not just imagination. In the beginning, it is imagination. However, in reality, everything consists of light. Now, science says that everything consists of electricity, and Tantra has always said that everything consists of light particles, including you as well. Even Quran says God is light and you are light. Imagine first that you are just light rays, then move your imagination from sex center up. Concentrate your attention there and feel that light rays are rising upwards from the sex center, as if sex center has become a source of light. Sex center has become source of light, and light rays are moving in an upsurge upwards the navel center. You have to go in steps. You have all this to happen in steps. This systematic step-by-step upsurge is essential because it will be difficult for you to connect your sex center directly to the ground center. Just as you are on the ground floor and you want to connect to the top floor, you can connect only through the staircase. And you have to move first step, second staircase, third, fourth, until you reach the top where you have to reach the top of the second floor. So it's a systematic step by step upsurge. It is essential because you cannot connect the ground floor to the top floor It can only be connected through the staircase. Or if there is no staircase, you are standing on the ground, on the floor, and your bulb has blown. Can you raise your hands to reach the bulb? No. You need something to climb up so that you can reach there, or you use a step ladder and going up the ladder, you can reach to the bulb to change the bulb that has blown. So it is that situation, your bulb has blown. You have to use the step ladder to move from the ground level, the earth center, to the center where the bulb has to change. So from sex center to the 1,000-petal center. So the smaller divisions will be of great help. If you can connect, no division is necessary. You can just drop all divisions from sex center upward, and the energy, the life force, the LNYT will rise up as light towards the ground center. But divisions or a step-by-step journey will be more helpful because your mind can conceive of smaller fragments more easily. So one step, first layer, second, and so. Therefore, just feel the energy as light rays, because light energy cannot move. So you have to imagine it as light. The torch light is moving. As you move, the focus of the torch light is moving forward. So when you consider your essence as the essence of light, as you move, it is the light rays, the focus is moving, and you are the torch light. You are the torch light, and light is moving upwards, is rising up from your sex center to navel like a river of light. And you are rivering in that river of life. Immediately you will feel a warmth rising in you. Sooner your navel center will become hot because the energy is reaching there. You can feel this warmth. Also, others too can feel the warmth around you. You feel a warmth around the awakened ones. Just as through imagination, sex center gets activated, in the same way, through your imagination, light as the sex center will move up. When you feel that now your second center, the navel center, has become the source of light, imagine the light rays are coming and being collected there. So when you take the torch light, you move from place to place. As the light reaches the heart center and the rays are coming, your heartbeat will be changed. Your breathing will become deeper and a warmth will come to your heart. Continue the upward movement. Consider each center and slowly become the essence of light. Like a river, these rays are rivering to move, to merge with the source of life. The source of life is outside. As this feeling deepens, livingness or life force rises in you. And as you feel warmth, just side by side, you feel a totally different kind of aliveness, a new life entering into you. And light from within is rising up. Sex energy has two parts. First is the physical or gross, the other is psychic. In your body, everything has two parts. Just like your body has mind, everything within you has two parts. One is material, the other is spiritual. The other is spiritual. When you take a combination of herbs, neem and turmeric, the sperm cells has, it is a cell, and from that the semen is released. But this is the first layer that happens in the act of sex. When you transcend beyond that, the sperm particles break the outer shell and reach the second layer of energy. That is called ojas, or the spiritual energy that emanates from the sex cells. You have only experienced the release of this at physical level when the same cells, the same particles break the outer shell, the sperm cells, and break the outer shell. It transcends and reaches the second layer, that is ojas. That is a spiritual energy or a glow that you see around the people. So one is the material part, the other is, the material part is semen. It cannot rise up. It is liquid, it is flow, it flows downwards. There is no passage for it. Because of this, many psychologists in the West say that Tantra and Yoga methods are nonsense as they deny them completely. How can sex energy rise up? Because to you, the sex energy is only the fluid. Now, take an example, water. You have the water running from the tap. If it is, you open the tap, water runs down. When you take a cup of water, put it in a pot and put it on the fire, the water is going through a process of transformation. And then the water molecules, through the process of convection and because of heat, it starts moving in an elliptical path. The energy, the water particles that was fluid-like, within that space, it is process of convection has begun. And when it reaches a certain temperature, it begins to go and becomes the steam. Is it still flowing downwards? It is moving upwards. The same thing happens with sex. But psychologists cannot understand that. That's why the problem comes in. They say this is Tantra and Yoga is nonsense. You can say the pot is nonsense. But everybody has experience of that when you put the water in the pot and put it on the fire. And with that, process of convection begins. The water molecules starts getting hot and start moving in an elliptical path, and then they become steam. How can sex energy rise up? There is no passage. There is no passage for water to go up, but there is a process. You put the water into the pot, put it on the fire, put the pot on the fire, and the process will begin. The water that was flowing downwards, flowing downwards and creating a mess, it starts moving and disappearing in the existence, becoming the part of the cosmos. The same thing, the sex energy begins to move, reaches the second layer, and it merges with the cosmos. And that merger with the cosmos is the beginning of awakening, Buddhahood. Semen, the material part, cannot rise, but that is not the whole truth. Just as water cannot move upward, but that is a half of the truth. Really, it is only the body of the sex energy. It is not sex energy. Steam is energy. Water is liquid form of energy. Water is liquid form of energy. Before that, there is a frozen part of energy, energy have three layers: the frozen, the fluid, and the steam. So sex energy, if you do not have a sex sense or you do not have a feeling of sex towards someone, your energy is frozen. So first your energy has to become flowing, then it starts moving downwards, then it has to move upward, and that is what they suppose. A spinal passage, a spinal cord is the passage and it centers, but this has to be felt, and your feeling have to be, feeling have gone dead. We have moved to thinking, but we are not feeling. There are two things, thinking and feeling. Thinking cannot be your feeling, but we consider thinking as feeling. First you have to imagine, and then you have to move to feeling. So imagination comes in between thinking and feeling, that bridges thinking and feeling. I remember something significant in this regard. I was reading an experience of a certain psychotherapist. He wrote about a patient who was a woman. He was telling her to feel something. However, the psychotherapist felt that whatever she did, she was not feeling. Instead, she was thinking about feeling. We think about feeling, not feel. So that was a different thing. So the therapist put his hand over the woman's hand and pressed it, telling her to close her eyes and relate to her what she felt. The therapist put his hand over her hand and pressed. She said immediately, "I feel your hand. I feel your hand." But the therapist said, "No, this is not your feeling. This is just your thinking. Thinking is your inference. I put my hand in your hand and you say you are feeling my hand. You are feeling my hand." See the difference. I will just explain to you the difference between thinking and feeling. But you are not. It is an inference. What do you feel? What do you feel? So the woman said, "I feel your fingers." So the therapist again said, "No, this is not your feeling. This is, you are inferring it. Just close your eyes and move to the place where my hand is on your hand. As you move, tell me what you feel." Then she said, "Oh, I was missing the whole thing. I feel the pressure and warmth. When I put my hand over your hand, if you say that I feel your hand, it is inference. With the hand you feel a warmth. You feel the pressure as I press my hand. When you embrace someone, the bodies are touching. This is thinking. But the feeling is of feeling of warmth, feeling of closeness. When a hand touches you, hand is not felt. Pressure and warmth are felt. The hand is just an inference. It is intellect, not feeling. Warmth and pressure is feeling. Now she was feeling. So see the difference between thinking and feeling. You have to move from thinking to feeling. Imagination bridges the two. Man has lost feeling completely. You have to develop feeling first. Only then you can do such techniques. Otherwise, these techniques will not work in you. Transformation will not happen, and you will draw a hasty conclusions, as in the West the psychologists have done, that Tantra and Yoga are just non-functional. You will just intellectualize. You will just think that you are feeling, but nothing will happen. That is the reason most people find that these techniques do not work as I explain. You have tried. but you are missing the whole point. You are missing a significant dimension, and that dimension is the dimension of feeling. Feeling is not thinking. So first you will have to develop that, and there are some methods which you can try. You can do one thing. If you are a small child, if you have a small child in your house, follow the child around for 1 hour every day. It will be better and more fulfilling than following an awakened one, a Buddha. Allow the child to move on all fours. Child is moving on all fours. You do the same thing. Follow the child moving on the all fours. You start moving on all fours. Just follow the child moving on all fours, and you will feel for the first time a new life energy coming to you when you are playing with the child like a child. You will again become a child. Look at the child and just follow. He will go to every corner. He will touch everything. He will not only touch, he may even taste everything. He will smell everything around as he moves. Just follow and do whatsoever he is doing without any thinking or anything. You can do this important meditation technique and you will feel the difference. Remember, once you were a child, but you have lost that capability now. And you have done this. The child is feeling. He is not intellectualizing anything as he moves from corner to corner. He is not thinking. He feels a smell, so he moves to that corner, and from where it is coming, there he sees an apple, so he tastes it. Just taste like a child. Watch when he is eating the apple. Even the apple is not, and the child is not, only the eating is there. You are eating, but you are not eating. Just follow a small child for 1 hour, and that hour will be enriching. You will become a child again. In the first book, Meditation, The Way to Self-Realization, I have given certain techniques of meditation for children. Your defense mechanism will drop, all your armors will drop, and you will start looking at the world the way the child looks, from the feeling dimension. From feeling dimension. And when you feel that, now you can feel, not think. You will enjoy the texture of the carpet on which you are moving. Like a child, the pressure, the warmth, and then just innocently following a child, you will feel a difference. Men can learn much from children. That is said, child is the father of man. And sooner or later, your real innocence will erupt. You were a child once. You know what it means to be one. You have simply forgotten, and you have moved to the other dimension. The feeling center must start functioning once again. Only then these techniques of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra will be of any help to you. Otherwise, you will go on thinking that energy is rising, but without any feeling. And if there is no feeling, imagination becomes important. Only a feeling imagination will give you a rest. Only that will give you something that will transform you. You can do many other things and there is no need to make a specific effort to them. When you go to sleep, you're lying on the bed, feel the pillow, the coolness. Just turn onto it, play with the pillow, put your hand over it, feel the softness of the pillow. Have you ever felt the softness of the pillow when you put your hand on the pillow? No, you do not. You do not. Close your eyes and listen to the noise of the air conditioner or the traffic or the clock or anything else. In the night, you don't need to listen to anything else, just a clock, the tick, 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 tick sound, you are listening to it. Just listen, do not label, do not say anything, do not use the mind, just live in that sensation. In the morning, the first moment of waking, when you feel now the sleep has gone, do not think, do not allow thinking to come into you. For a moment, you can again be a child, innocent, fresh. Feel the softness of the pillow. Do not start thinking about that. What are you going to do? When are you going to starting for the office? What train are you going to take? No thinking. You will have enough time for all that. But this particular moment when you wake up from the sleep, be like a child. Just wait for a few moments. Just listen to the noise, the birds singing, or the wind is passing through the door. But you are within your room, you can hear the chirping of the birds. You may not be able to hear the wind blowing through the trees rustling, or a child is crying, or the opening of the door making sound, or anything else. With anything that happens, feel it. When you get up, trying to get up from the bed squeaks. If that happens, feel it. Be sensitive to it. Open to it. Allow it to happen. Your sensitivity will grow. Man has lost this sensitivity. When taking a shower, feel the touch of the water all over your body. Whatever I am saying, there is no scripture involved in it. No psalms no verses of Quran, no sutras of Upanishad, nothing. Simple. When taking a shower, feel its touch all over your body. Each drop of water touching you, feel the touch, the coolness or the warmth. Try this the whole day whenever you have the chance. You are going to the kitchen to prepare your tea. You are carrying the smartphone with you. You are focusing on that rather hearing the sound of the water boiling in the pot. In Zen garden, there is a process that is called tea ceremony. You have to pass through the garden and go in this inner center. There is a pot called samovar. In that, water is boiling for the tea. You have to sit down and listening to the sound of the water boiling in the samovar. Then tea is served. Is a small table. You have to sit down on the ground around the table, and the tea is poured in a cup. You have to sip the tea, feel it. Then everything begins to change. So when opening the car door, touching the steering wheel, when just breathing, feel the breath. Its moment within, its movement within, and when it goes out, just feel your own body. You have not felt it. When did you ever feel your body before? You are so afraid of your bodies. No one touches his own body in a loving way. Have you ever given any love to your own body? The whole civilization is afraid. The whole civilization is afraid of anyone touching himself because from childhood, touching has been denied. It appears to be masturbatory to touch oneself in a loving manner. But if you cannot touch your body in a loving manner, your body will go insensitive and dead. And you want to do the meditation in the temples, churches, here and there. It has gone. Touch your eyes with your palm. When you make the cup of your palms and put it onto the eyes, feel the eyes feel fresh and alive because of that touch. Feel your body all over. Feel the body of your lover, your friend's body. Massage is good. Two friends can massage each other and feel each other's body. You will become more sensitive. Create a deep sensitivity and feeling. Then it will be easier for you to practice these techniques. And then you will feel livingness rising in you. As the sutra says, consider yourself as the light, as the essence of light, moving from center to center, up the vertebrae, and feel the liveness in you. So you have to go this process before you can feel. You have to move from thinking to feeling before you can feel the liveness into you. Do not leave this energy anywhere. Allow it to come to the top. Remember this whenever you do an experiment, do not leave it in the middle. You have put the water to boil, allow it to boil, otherwise you know what will happen. You have to complete it. Take care that no one disturbs you. If you leave this energy somewhere in the middle, it can be harmful, just as when you leave the pot on the fire, water to boil, it will be harmful. It has to be released. So bring it to the head and feel as if your head has become an opening. In yoga, Sahasrara is depicted as a lotus, as a 1,000-petal lotus, meaning 1,000-petaled, an opening of 1,000 petals or avenues. 1,000. So when it is said that in Ramayana that Ravan has 10 heads, means he has 10 avenues, ways of thinking, energy moving out in 10 different directions. So some people who are very intelligent, they can do too many things at the same time. You go to a 5-star restaurant kitchen, you see the chef is having 4 pots and cooking 4 things simultaneously. Each is a different item, but never gets mixed up with anything. So he is capable of doing simultaneously several things. So that is what will begin to happen. When the 1,000-petal center opens, many avenues open to you simultaneously. And there is no confusion, there is no mix-up or anything there. He does not mix up the white gravy in the sweet dish or the meat dish ingredients into the vegetarian dish. He is doing everything. Same time, because the orders are many and one chef is completing whatever his expertise, he is completing those dishes for different tables. There are two types of orgasms. One is sexual, the other is spiritual. The sexual comes from the lowest center and the spiritual comes from the highest center. From the highest, you meet the highest. From the top of the ladder, you touch the roof. From the lower step, you meet the floor. And through this ladder, the floor connects to the roof. And once you reach the roof, you leave the ladder. You have reached top. Even while actually in sex act, you can do this exercise. Both the partners can do this, move the energy upward, and then the sex act become the tantra sadhana or austerity. Then it becomes meditation. You have known the very purpose of marriage. Why Sufis have focused when somebody says, ask for initiation, first get married. And not much was explained. But do not leave the energy somewhere in the body at any center. Someone may come and you may have other business to do, or a phone call comes in and you have to stop. Something like that may happen. So do it at such a time when no one can disturb you. Also do not leave the energy at any center. Otherwise, that center where you have left the energy will become a wound. And you may create many mental illnesses in you. And when the sex energy is not allowed to move, the kind of a psychological diseases we develop in ourselves, that you have to go to the psychiatrist. So be aware of this. Otherwise, do not do this. The method needs absolute privacy and no disturbance of any kind. And it must be done completely. The energy must come to the head each act. When you put the pot onto the fire, you have to continue doing that until why you have put the pot of water in the pot to boil. You have done it to make the cup of tea. You have to allow to finish the act of making the tea. Otherwise, the pot may burn. And if you have put the milk in it, what you call that, a kind of a wound. You will have various experiences when you feel that the rays are starting to come up start to move from the sex center. There will be erections or sensation at the sex center. Many people become afraid and scared. They say whenever they are doing the meditation, they start moving deeper, then there is an erection. And they wonder, why is this? They are afraid because they think that in meditation, sex would not be there. But you do not know how life functions. It is a good sign. It shows the energy is now alive. It needs movement. There is no need to become scared and think that something is wrong. It is a good sign. When you start meditation, and sex center will become more sensitive, more alive, excited. In the beginning, this happens only in the beginning. The excitement will be there, but only in the beginning. As the meditation deepens, you will start feeling the energy moving upward. as the energy flows, and as the energy flows, the sex center becomes silent and less excited. When the energy really begins to move to the thousand petal centers, there will be a sensation first at the sex center. It will be totally still and silent. It will become completely cool. The sex center will become cool and the warmth will come to your head. Otherwise, in the act of sex, the sex center feels the warmth and head feels cool. But now, as the meditation deepens, sex center becomes silent and the thousand petal center head feels the warmth. You can feel that heat. It is physical. When the energy will move upward, sex center will become cooler and cooler and the warmth will be felt at the head. Some may feel dizzy when the energy comes to the head in a much deeper manner. Sometimes you may even feel nauseous because for the first time the energy is coming to the head. That's why when people sit down and the tawajjuh is flowing at a much deeper manner, you feel nauseated, you feel headache, you feel this and that. Intense energy is moving through tawajjuh and reaching to the thousand petal center. Sometimes you may even feel nauseous because it is for the first time the energy has come to the head and your head is not acquainted with it. That's why when the master sends the strong energy through tawajjuh, you feel that your head is not acquainted with it. So you have to become slowly and slowly tuned to it. So do not become afraid. Sometimes you may immediately become unconscious. It happened at times when somebody is being initiated or bath is being given. The master sends a tremendous force of energy. The person becomes unconscious. This happened when the Ijazat and Khilafat was given to Brij Mohan Lal. His master Maulana Abdul Ghani, he came out putting on the same cap as was given to him at the time of his initiation. He took off and he called for Brij Mohan Lal, who was a small child, maybe 8 or 9 years of age. And he removed the cap that he was having, put on his cap, and at the same time his eyelids went up, unconscious, and he remained in that state. The similar thing was happened to me when at the age of 8 months I was lying with my grandfather, the Sufi master Brij Mohan Lal, and this process happened. I remained unconscious from 3 o'clock in the morning until 8. So that energy is difficult to absorb. Sometimes you may become unconscious. It happens when a strong energy is sent to a person. There is no need to be afraid. It happens. If so much energy moves suddenly and explodes in the head, you may become unconscious. But that unconsciousness cannot remain for more than an hour. Within 1 hour, the energy automatically falls back and is released. You cannot remain that way for more than an hour. I say 1 hour, but it exactly happens in 48 minutes. That's why the complete process of meditation to finish, it takes 45 minutes. You cannot sit down for 5 minutes in meditation. Whenever you are going to the shrine, it is a minimum 45 minutes rotation. Then normally your one nostril is open. It takes 45 minutes to the cycle to complete the 2 nostrils open. You breathe through the 2 nostrils, balancing the left and the right side of the brain. That is the purpose of the meditation. I say 1 hour, but in fact it is exactly 48 minutes. It cannot be more than that. It has never happened in millions of years of experiments. So no need to be afraid. If you do not become unconscious, it is okay. After that unconsciousness, you will feel a freshness in you, that as if you have been in deep sleep for the first time, the deepest sleep. The yoga calls this as induced sleep or yoga nidra. The yogic sleep, it is very deep and it is induced sleep. You move when tawajjuh is given by the sheikh to a disciple, this is what happens. Or when you go and sit down at the shrine, so sometimes if the energy is moving through the jazb, means the heart center, it is very strong. Your body feels as if you have taken a strong dose of sleeping tablets, and when it is flowing through, the work has to be done at the head or suluk, then it is very mild. You do not feel to close your eyes, but you are feeling a kind of blissfulness, that you just do not want to get up. You just want to keep your eyes are half open, half closed. You are feeling a mild, pleasant, the smell, the breeze or something like that is happening. Feel as if your head is opening like a lotus flower. Have you sit down near the flower and see it opening? As if the energy is being released into the cosmos. As the energy is released, you will feel a coolness coming to you. You have never felt this coldness that comes after this hotness. Be totally in anything you do, even if it be a technique. Never do anything incomplete in life. This is going to be a chapter in the work Psychology of the Awakened One. Krishna is the father of modern psychology because he knows the state of the wavering mind. The mind continues to waver, and the moment an awakened one knows the state of the wavering mind, he is the psychologist. He is the psychologist of the inner. He knows the state of wavering mind, at what point you will waver, your mind will waver. The story of Bhagavad Gita begins with the story of a blind man. With blind man. He is physically blind, but physical blindness does not mean his desires have vanished. He is psychologically blind also. And he marries to someone who assumes voluntary blindness by closing her eyes. Out of that, myriad negativities are born. So Arjun is in a state of quandary. His mind is wavering whether to do. He is not able to understand the real purpose of his life. Why has he decided to fight against his the cousins, kitchen kin? And then when he sees the army, he is flabbergasted. He do not want to fight anymore. There is a conflict of interest within him. The mind wavers. That is the situation of each disciple. So the awakened one, that's why I choose the topic. Maybe there may be a subtitle of it. If anybody can suggest me. Psychology of the Awakened. Subtitle may be The Way for Transformation. The Way for Transformation. Psychology of the Awakened One. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.